Hi everyone, this is Dr. Sarala. Welcome to Millet Magic. There's a general notion that things which are healthy are not tasty and those which are tasty cannot be healthy. To prove this notion wrong, today we present to you a millet rice bowl composed of spinach rice and a creamy vegetable sauce. With the goodness of greens incorporated into the millet rice and a variety of vegetables in the sauce, this dish is the complete package. And hey, though the sauce is creamy, there isn't any cheese or even dairy milk used in this recipe. So let's begin. To make the spinach rice, you will require 1 cup of soaked millet. Here I am using barnyard millet, but you could use any of the 5 positive millets. The millet needs to be soaked with 2 cups of water for 6 to 8 hours. After 6 to 8 hours, cook the rice using the same water used for soaking the millet and then spread it out on a plate and allow it to cool so that the excess water evaporates and you'll be left with non-sticky, fluffy millet rice. You will also need 1 bunch of spinach, that is palak, 15 leaves of mint or pudina, a fistful of coriander, 4 to 5 green chilies, oil for cooking. Here I am using groundnut oil which has been extracted by bull-driven wooden garnies. Salt to taste and pepper powder. And for the sauce, you will require 2 teaspoons of butter. You can replace this with bull-driven cold-pressed oils if you want to keep it vegan. About 2 tablespoons of millet flour. Here I am using barnyard millet flour since I am using barnyard millet to make the rice. About 2 teaspoons of finely chopped garlic. 250 to 300 ml of freshly extracted coconut milk. If you haven't already watched our video on how to make fresh coconut milk at home, you can do so by pressing on the link in the description box below. 1 to 2 teaspoons of red chili powder, a teaspoon of pepper powder, and a pinch or 2 of freshly grated nutmeg powder, and some assorted vegetables. Today I am using onion, carrot and capsicum which I have cut into thin long slices. You can also use cauliflower, baby corn, peas or fresh beans. Today I am also going to be using sun-dried mushrooms in this recipe. Of course you can use fresh mushrooms instead, but using sun-dried mushrooms adds to the health factor since sun-dried mushrooms are the only other natural source of vitamin D other than exposing yourself directly to the sun. I'm going to be using around 15 sun-dried mushrooms, which is about 25 grams. They need to be soaked for 6 to 8 hours and then they swell up to become about 200 grams of mushroom. For this recipe, since we're only going to be stir frying the mushrooms, I'm going to remove the stalks. However, I'm not going to throw them away. I'm going to keep them aside to be used in another recipe which we'll be sharing with you soon on Millet Magic. And of course, we need some salt to taste. The first step would be to blanch the spinach. For this, heat 1 to 1.5 cups of water and bring it to a boil. Add in a pinch of salt. This prevents the spinach from losing too much color into the water. Once the water is boiling really well, add in the spinach. Switch off the flame, cover with a lid and allow for a minute. Then remove the spinach and transfer into a bowl of ice water. You can clearly see here how the spinach has not given out much of its green color. Now into a mixie jar, add in the blanched spinach, 4 to 5 green chilies, a fistful of coriander, and a few mint leaves for their flavor. Do not add in any extra water here. Blend all the ingredients together into a really smooth paste. Now set it aside since we'll be using this a little later. Next, we'll begin with the sauce. Add in 1 teaspoon of butter into a pan and allow it to melt. Then add in 1 teaspoon of finely chopped garlic and saute it until it turns golden. Then add into this 2 tablespoons of millet flour and saute for a minute. Commonly, maida is used in this step while making the sauce. However, I have found that it is much easier to use millet flour. Being gluten-free, it does not form lumps and does not become too sticky to handle. And of course, it is much more healthy too. At this stage, you can switch off the flame so that you do not burn the flour. Now start incorporating the coconut milk little by little and mix it well together. Once all the flour is combined into the milk, switch on the flame, keep it on sim, and with continuous stirring, allow the sauce to thicken. Mix well, and when you feel that it is becoming too thick, add in some more coconut milk. Once the sauce begins to simmer, add in salt to taste, 1 teaspoon of red chili powder and 1 teaspoon of black pepper powder. Here I have used homemade red chili powder made from the variety of red chilies which are very spicy but have less color. To get a sauce with more vibrant color, you could use the variety of red chilies which impart more color and less spice. Next, I'm going to add in a pinch of freshly grated nutmeg powder. Do not add in too much as this has a very strong flavor. You could also add in some oregano, basil or mixed herbs if you like. You can see how creamy and inviting the sauce looks. Give everything a nice mix and allow to simmer on a low flame for about 2 to 3 minutes. Meanwhile, in another pan, heat some cooking oil. Add in a teaspoon of finely chopped garlic and saute it until golden brown. Then add in the finely cut carrot and saute for a minute. Then add in the cut pieces of mushroom and saute for another minute. Next to go in would be the capsicum, followed by the slices of onion. Add a pinch of salt for taste and a pinch of pepper powder. We don't want the vegetables to become too soft. We want them to retain their crunch. So stir frying needs to be done quickly on a high flame. Now add the sauteed vegetables into the sauce and give it a nice mix. And allow the entire sauce to simmer for another minute or 2 so that all the flavors get incorporated with each other. Now in the same pan used to saute the vegetables, add a little cooking oil. Once the oil is hot, add in the spinach puree. Allow the puree to simmer well for 4 to 5 minutes so that all the rawness is gone and the spinach is cooked well. We also want to reduce the water content and for it to become a little thick. Now add in salt to taste and a teaspoon of pepper powder. Then start incorporating the cooked millet rice little by little, mixing everything well. It's now time for plating. Place the rice on one side of the bowl and the curry on the other. And there you go, a millet rice bowl which everyone is sure to enjoy. If the kids are fussy to eat greens and vegetables, I'm sure that such recipes will come to your rescue. So do try it out. Happy cooking!